Good morning, my K3 friends. Today you will find in your packet a picture of this bull. And this bull is called Ferdinand. And we're going to read a story about Ferdinand, how he did not want to be a fighting bull like the other big bulls. He liked to smell the flowers. So let's see what this story is all about. Once upon a time in Spain, there was a little bull, and his name was Ferdinand. See what he's doing here? He's sniffing the flower and the butterfly. All the other little bulls he lived with would run and jump and butt their heads together. But not Ferdinand. He had a favorite spot out in the pasture under a cork tree. It was his favorite tree, and he would sit in its shade all day and smell the flowers. Sometimes his mother, who was a cow, would worry about him. She was afraid he would be lonesome all by himself. "Why don't you run and play with the other little bulls and skip and butt your head?" she would say. But Ferdinand would shake his head. "I like it better here, where I can sit just quietly and smell the flowers." His mother saw that he was not lonesome, and because she was an understanding mother, even though she was a cow, she let him just sit there and be happy. As the years went by, Ferdinand grew and grew until he was very big and strong. This says he's 2 years old now. This is how tall he is at 2. See this line? This is how tall he was at 1 year old. All the other bulls who had grown up with him in the same pasture would fight each other all day. They would butt each other and stick each other with their horns. What they wanted most of all was to be picked to fight at the bullfights in Madrid. Look how they're all reading the sign that says bullfight at the stadium in Madrid. But not Ferdinand. He still liked to sit just quietly under the cork tree and smell the flowers. One day, 5 men came in very funny hats to pick the biggest, fastest, roughest bull to fight in the bullfights in Madrid. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look, they all look different. He has a big mustache. And all their heads are different. All the other bulls ran around snorting and butting, leaping and jumping, so the men would think that they were very, very strong and fierce and pick them. Look what they're all doing. Ferdinand knew that they wouldn't pick him, and he didn't care. So he went out to his favorite cork tree to sit down. He didn't look where he was sitting. And instead of sitting on the nice cool grass in the shade, he sat on a bumblebee. Oh, what do you think's gonna happen? Well, if you were a bumblebee and a bull sat on you, what would you do? Why, you would sting him, of course, and that is just what this bee did to Ferdinand. Look at Ferdinand's face. That must have hurt. Wow, did it hurt? Ferdinand jumped up with a snort. He ran around puffing and snorting, butting and pawing the ground as if he were crazy. The 5 men saw him, and they all shouted with joy. Here was the largest and fiercest bull of all, just the one for the bullfights in Madrid. Do you think that's what Ferdinand wanted, though? I don't think he wanted to go to the bullfight. So they took him away for the bullfight day in a cart. There he is in the cart. I think he has a sad face. What a day it was. Flags were flying, bands were playing. And all the lovely ladies had flowers in their hair. There's their flowers. They had a parade until the bull ring. First came the banderillos with long, sharp pins with ribbons on them to stick in the bull and make him mad. Oh, that doesn't sound nice, does it? Next came the picadors who rode skinny horses, and they had long spears to stick in the bull and make him madder. Oh, that looks bad. That's not a nice thing to do to the bull. Then came the matador, the proudest of all. He thought he was very handsome and bowed to the ladies. He had a red cape and a sword and was supposed to stick the bull last of all. No wonder Ferdinand didn't want to go to the bullfight. Then came the bull, and you know who that was, don't you? It was Ferdinand. They called him Ferdinand the Fierce, and all the banderillos were afraid of him, and the picadors were afraid of him, and the matador was scared stiff. Ferdinand ran into the middle of the ring, and everyone shouted and clapped because they thought he was going to fight fiercely and butt and snort and stick his horns around. But not Ferdinand. When he got to the middle of the ring, he saw the flowers and all the lovely ladies' hair, and he just sat down quietly and smelled. He wouldn't fight and be fierce no matter what they did. He just sat and smelled. And the banderillos were mad, and the picadors were madder, and the matador was so mad he cried because he couldn't show off with his cape and sword. So they had to take Ferdinand home. I think that probably made Ferdinand happy. Do you think? What do you think he's going to do when he gets home? And for all I know, he is sitting there still under his favorite cork tree, smelling the flowers just quietly. He is very happy. The end. So when you color your picture of Ferdinand, I want you to add some flowers for him to sniff. Can you see on the front cover how he's sniffing the flowers? And you also, if you wanted to, you could draw a bumblebee stinging him, that he sat down on the bumblebee. That might be fun to do too. Have a good day. Bye-bye, my K3 friends.